Hello guys. Hello. Hello. Hello guys.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Okay. Done. So to all of you who are joining this live stream, thank you so much. We are just going to start our first panel discussion, which will be on topic leadership. So, first of all, welcome and happy International Women's Day to all of you. Uh, in this panel discussion, there are going to be three topics. First is leadership, second is clarity and confidence, and third is how to grow and scale your small business. This is the first time we are going live on YouTube. तो अगर कुछ भी हो जाए, थोड़ा टेक्निकल ग्लिच आ जाए तो प्लीज़ बेयर विथ अस. लाइव छोड़ के चले मत जाना. इन 1 or 2 minutes वी विल सॉर्ट दैट थिंग आउट. तो पहली बार कर रहे हैं तो थोड़ा सपोर्ट करना हमें. एंड इफ़ यू आर वाचिंग दिस देन प्लीज़ डू ड्रॉप अ लाइक. यूट्यूब एल्गोरिथम हेल्प करेगा, ये लाइव स्ट्रीम और लोगों को पुश करेगा, और लोगों को नोटिफिकेशन भेजेगा जो हमारे सब्सक्राइबर्स है, और जो नहीं भी है उन लोगों को हम उनके फीड के ऊपर दिखाएगा. तो प्लीज़ डू ड्रॉप अ लाइक. ये स्ट्रीम को लाइक करो तो और ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुँचेगा एंड वी कैन हैव अ मोर इम्पैक्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्ट्रीम. एंड जिन लोगों को भी ये नहीं पता है, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ चैरिटी स्ट्रीम, डोनेशन स्ट्रीम. ऑल द पेमेंट डिटेल्स एंड पेमेंट का जो जितने भी आपको लिंक है वो सभी डिस्क्रिप्शन में है. एंड आफ्टर द स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट, आफ्टर द डिस्कशन स्टार्ट, वो स्क्रीन के ऊपर भी फ्लोट होने लगेंगे. तो वो सब आपको डिटेल मिल जाएंगे आप लोगों को. तो you guys can donate any amount of money by using this UPI IDs and this phone number. So the first panel discussion will be on the topic of leadership, and for that we have three wonderful women. Two of them are entrepreneurs and one is a very big leader in her organization. And for that, the host is going to be Drashti Patel, and I'm going to introduce her in just 1 minute. But but before that, I'm very proud that in Spotlight we have our own podcast named Entrepreneur Talks, and in that we did a podcast with more female entrepreneurs than male entrepreneurs. We have brought more female stories, and I'm very proud of that. So, without further ado, I want to introduce the host of this stream. Please welcome Trusty Patel for the leadership panel discussion.
Hello, hi Utsav. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and a very happy Women's Day to you all. Wishing not just the women, but the men too, who support, care, and love the women in their lives unconditionally. Today, we are gathered here for a stimulating discussion on a very important topic: take the lead. We're going to start with leadership. What it is to be a leader. There is no better way to discuss this than with three very spirited women who are leading by example in their respective industries today. Please help me welcome our esteemed panel for the day. With us, we have ex-CEO of Dr. Vaidya's, Miss Trisha Vaidya.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me.
We also have with us founder of Sad and former restaurant operations manager at Uber Eats, Miss Griva Shah.
Hi guys, happy Women's Day to all of you. Thank you for having me.
And finally, we have the head HR manager at International Service Partners who individually leads a team of 250 people, Miss Dhara Upadhyay.
Hi, very good evening. Happy to be here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight Take the Lead.
Thank you.
Let's
Hi
start
Shrushty,
with
thanks.
Hi, all.
leadership has a lot to do with team. So, to begin the discussion, team is one of the aspects that essentially runs a leadership. How important is your team to you, and what do you think are the driving forces of an efficient team? We can start with Ms. Griva.
Oh, hi. So yeah, I mean, team management was, I think, one of the biggest things. I got promoted twice at Uber because we were building a startup and like we had huge teams at a very young age. So we had 35 people like across restaurant ops, reporting to us. So I would think from drawing from that experience that what helps big, make big teams and you don't have yes men is first diverse teams. You have to have people who don't think like you on the team. So whether it's women or like let's say religious minorities or age group or experiences or personality types, you don't need to have like all type A people in one room or only like introverts in one room. So first thing is to have to build a team which is diverse for it to function properly and be sustainable in the long run. And uh, to encourage like building better teams, you have to create psychological safety. Like if they are speaking out, there is no repercussions for them to criticize you in public unless it's a personal remark or anything, then it's a different issue. But if they are criticizing your work or your plan or your strategy, either it's your boss or either it's your employee, you have to create that psychological safety that it's okay for you to speak. So I think that's two things. And the third is, despite all of this, you have to ask for feedback, because as women, you can either be liked or you can either be competent. If you want to be seen as both, first you have to be fair and then go overboard with like, oh no, you give me feedback, where can I improve, or those kind of things. So I think, yeah, three things would be psychological safety in your team, hire diverse set of people across all spectrums of life, and ask for feedback.
Definitely. I think one of the very important things is to have diversity because that germinates fresh ideas and a lot of experimentation between the team to churn out content which is relevant in today's time. Like these are three really interesting takeaways. Ms. Dara, what do you have to say about it? What
Yeah,
factors make a team very efficient?
yes, I agree with the panelist, and just would like to add more to her point is to have diverse team is also to have a lot of delegation happening on each of the sector. Like without delegation, no one can lead. Like to be a leader, today's topic is the leader. Sometimes we become so possessive, especially the girls who are perfectionist and who cannot let go like some skills that they are very much proficient at. Then they cannot lead. Otherwise, like the best part of a team is to trust each other. So not just to trust on them on just the work front, but sometime on their personal fronts too. Someone have any issue in their personal life, we may need to stay there to help them on every front. So delegation is the key, and for delegation, we need to follow a proper system. Like we must need to know the roles first about the team. I'm talking more on the formal front. There may be a lot of attendees here who may be like newbies, freshers, and one fine day, if they got lucky, like I got lucky in my job, like the first job I got into was directly a manager. I was replacing a lady who was working there for 5 years on that seat, and I had to replace her as a MBA fresher. So the best thing is delegation in a team, diversity. I agree. Asking for a feedback is more of an interpersonal relationship. I also agree there. And knowledge about what you are doing first is most important. Sometime in the race of competing with each other, we forget our own roles. Like कि वो मेरे से ज़्यादा आगे बढ़ गया तो चलो मैं भी उसके जैसा करता हूँ. That won't help us like anyway. So just my take on teams is more on creating more and more delegation, creating a channel, making it independent. Like it is not dependent on anybody. If four people wants to go for a vacation for a week, they can go, because the system is like such that they have trained people under them, that they have work life balance, they have their own uh, freedom to take the decisions on work front. This is only my point.
Right. Thank you for that wonderful insight. Miss Trisha, what do you have to say on factors that affect an
Sure.
efficient
So I
team?
think they covered quite a lot of the points really well, and I couldn't agree more with them. I think the other thing that's very, very important, and I mean, we faced this when we were trying to build a team as well, is a whole component of ownership, right? The moment a person feels like it's a 9 to 5 job and they're looking at the clock, I don't think they're ever part of the team. I think when they have that ownership that this is a brand I work with or work for, and they have that complete ownership that I believe in this vision, I believe in it, that's very important. And I think as company heads, employers, CXO levels, it's very important to make your employees, and it could be from every sense, right? So we used to make sure from our office boy to our CXO level, everyone had that sense of ownership to know that they are part and contribute equally. I think another very important thing within a team is respect, right? It doesn't matter how junior, senior, how long you've been in the team, that respect across the board has to be there, right? I think also the third thing is you have to let them ideate. You have to let them hear it out. You have to give them a chance to explain what their idea is. Maybe it doesn't work out. That's fine, also, right? As a management, you at times have to make the tougher calls. But I think you need to hear everyone out, and everyone should feel that proactiveness to actually be part of the team and contribute to it versus just a kind of, if you look at it as a 9 to 5 job, looking at the clock, that team's never going to work. So that's what I would
Absolutely.
add.
I think we've had some very interesting takeaways from this very question of how the factors that affect an efficient team. One being, as Ms. Trisha said, the feeling of inclusivity and how if a person feels that it's not just a job but the ownership of the job, that makes a lot of difference. And not just that, but diverse teams, which was stated by Ms. Griva, and delegation of work. I think these are three very different takeaways, but very important when we think of a team and the co-working of a team, which is very interesting. My next question is actually directed to Miss Trisha. Interestingly, Miss Trisha was also on the founding team of NICA, and hence my next question is to her. What values should a leader inculcate? For example, Falguni Nair was able to launch an IPO in the span of 5 years. So So what do you think are the practices that inspired, that she inculcated and inspired you to be a leader?
Honestly, I think a lot of experience, right? So you could see in her decision making skills, or you could see in anything, her thought process, there was a lot of experience that I think was one of her largest advantages. The other thing is honestly her obsession and passion, right? It doesn't happen. Entrepreneurship is such a tough journey for everybody. I've done it myself. Unless you're completely obsessed about it, uh, I don't think it works, right? Third thing is there is no shortcut for hard work. I don't think she worked, I don't think anyone in the company worked as hard as her. She would go through every single order. She would know every single thing that happened in her company. She would be able to multitask between operations, orders, sales, management, everything, right? So I think that ownership, and I think eventually, like from idea stage to when you grow, the ability to delegate, right? The ability to actually entrust people. You hire someone, you trust them, right? If you are going to micromanage, you're never going to be able to actually grow. It's a ability to actually delegate and entrust people. So obviously to spot good talent, to do that, of course, is something that really worked in her favor.
Right. I think since we're talking about leadership, this is one very interesting thing that you just said about that is trust, a value that is so important for a leader to inculcate, so important for a leader to actually not just lead a team. I feel to drive the team, motivate them, encourage them, and that can only happen when you show a certain amount of trust, and you also give them the probably the onus of doing a task rather than just trying to control everything like the micromanaging part. So yeah, I think this is one very interesting thing, that as leaders we all should not just be just leading by example, but by working with the level on the level of the team. I think that's very interesting. My next question is for the three of you. Uh, in the recent years, that women entrepreneurs are being acknowledged, and it's happened recently. So they are acknowledged, regarded, appreciated. Though there are far few women in the roles of leadership. So, what, according to you, are the factors that affect this ratio? Why are there so few women in leadership roles? Though nowadays a lot of women, for example, like Falguni Nair, the founder of Nykaa, came into limelight only when there was an IPO release and people realized that it's in a span of 5 years since the start of Nykaa that she was able to release her IPO. So very few women are there who are acknowledged and appreciated. So what do you think? Why is there this the ratio? Why is there less women and more men as far as leadership roles are concerned? We can start with Ms. Dhara.
Yeah, so very interesting, and we cannot run away from this question. I don't know. Next another 10 years also it will take, and this question will be repeated every year, I suppose, because that's the way God has made our life. Like we have different life cycles in our entire life, and we want to be happy and we also want to work. So to be happy we have different milestones in our life, that I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to have my like vacations, a lot of thing women have to go through before they think about themselves, their career, like the family pressure. But basically, not to stereotype or not to uh, be very much generalized about it, what exactly happens on the field that I have witnessed here, like we are always more on this emotional part of the, like our emotional brain works more than our practical brain in, and that's why we get into agreement side most of the time. Like if we are offered the role, okay, yes, I'll do it from tomorrow. We get very much appreciated. We feel gratified. Oh, मेरा performance देख के मुझे बहुत ही ये कर दिया. But there may be some potential light in us that we don't even know. So what I realized after coming into this world of corporate and all, that the more you know about the company, their goals, and your contribution into the company, like how much impact your decision will make to entire company's performance, then you start realizing your own worth. And when you start realizing your own worth, you also put your points. Once you start putting your points, if it is in the faith of company, they will also start recognizing you, and then they feel like it is not so easy to replace you, or having someone who is having good faith and really good commitment for the company, and then you head up into the leadership position really easily. And now I would say that now it is there are some mandates that in the entire boardroom there are a certain percentage of reservation for ladies kept. So I don't think so it is a golden time for ladies. If they believe in their own power and their own faith, and don't stay so satisfied with whatever is offered to them, then I think that they can also head up into the leadership role very easily. But why it is not happening, I think so, is most of the stereotyping that has been created up till now, that women को तो थोड़ी घर चलाना है, leadership role मतलब सारा ही growth होता है, like you will have financial growth, you will have your own team, you will have more working hours, you may need to uh, travel a lot. So कंपनी
Right.
सोचती है कि कैसे करेगी ये मैरिड है, किड्स है, कैसे करेगी. So they don't even consider some people on the list of the like के एलिवेशन हम वो देखते नहीं है. प्रमोशन करेंगे तो 5 सिटी में रात रात रहना पड़ेगा, 2 लड़के होके साथ में रह लेंगे, एक लड़की है उसको कैसे रखेगी अकेले. You know, it becomes a responsibility. And especially when we talk about India and certain states and certain cities where it's not so safe, it is considered not to be very safe. वहाँ पे फिर कंपनी को लगता है कि to put somebody in that position, like a girl in that position, will slow down the growth of the company. That's why
Right.
they don't put. And other thing about the vicious cycle that I already talked about, that
Right.
we have the stages in our life where
Right.
we need
Right.
to take breaks. लाइक मैटरनिटी इज अ ब्रेक. तो आप कोई
Right.
स्टार्टअप में या कोई छोटी सी कंपनी में आपको लीडरशिप रोल लेना है एंड यू आर अर्निंग वे टू मच, देन योर
Right.
लीडरशिप your maternity will cost them like a lot. To keep you at home, they may need to pay a lot. And
I think what I gauge from this answer is that women take time to instate faith in themselves, and hence this disparity exists, according to you.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I think that it is the basic thing. Otherwise, if we just introspect and brainstorm, if we talk about other panelists, then there may be a lot of things. They had been entrepreneurs. They also have had. I have
Right.
65 ladies working with me here in my team. I know everyone's personal stories, so they have their limitations. And sometimes I also take some time to keep a lady in particular. Like
Right.
designation. So I
I
think so.
think these
It's
are the norms that we want to change. These are the mandates that we want to change, and hence this discussion today, that why limit women to not wanting to move to cities or live in cities for 5 days or etc. etc. All these reasons because of which there is this ratio disparity. Ms. Griva, what do you think on this?
I think
What is
it's
your
a
take?
brilliant question. And I disagree with the other panelists that it's about maternity leave or any
Right.
of that. You see, 11% of parliament is women. I understand you've put all the girls in primary schools. There are equal number of graduates. But when I also want people from my team, when we were recruiting for Uber, let's say I want 50% women. You are right. There are no women we see stories because they're outliers. In general ratio terms, I'm not able to find them. And it's because we are conditioned in a way that we don't have confidence. Men will be half as good in interviews from what I have taken, and they will pitch themselves as if it's a story bigger than what they're portraying on their CV. And women consider themselves, I think Miss Vaidya also said that earlier, that such high standards that you self-select. You only think you are not going to be able to apply for a job which has 5 years of experience, but men will go even if they're 1 year of experience. That self-confidence is there that I'll apply for a position which says online that, let's
Definitely.
say for example, 5 years of experience is required. So that, I think, I don't agree with them, because it's a societal mindset that we don't have that entitlement कि मैं जाके I will apply for this job because rest of the other candidates are not half
Absolutely.
as good. But we will ensure that every condition on that job description is fulfilled because you want to go. And same thing with women pitches. Like when we were at NUA, and like, you know, when you have, I was at Lightbox, you see pitches from people. There are no women who are pitching, even if they want that 2% diversity quota to be fulfilled, or for whatever reason, there are not that many women who are coming and pitching their startups, because unless you think you are absolutely right on all your unit economics, your data, and all of that. And third thing, maybe it is because it's the hours. You really cannot have a family and, you know, put in the hours, because that corporate world is cutthroat. Matlab, you need to show up twice as good to be considered half as capable. Unfortunately, like, that's the reality. Like, you have to be
True.
first in, last out, and then go and, you know, be socializing with everybody, and, you know, have that soft connect, so that you are competent and live, you know, because those two rare combinations are met. So yeah, in summary, I feel it's because we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards, and we self filter before applying to job positions or pitching. And second, women don't self promote. Men, in
Right.
uh, when they go for their bonus conversations, all that, we cannot blow our own trumpets. I have realized that, so we should blow them for each other.
Definitely. I think this is the hard hitting truth that as women, we really don't take the onus of our capabilities. We really want someone to push us forward in not
They're just naturally
necessarily.
so nurturing. If I will speak up for you, I'll speak up for Dr. Vaidya, but I will not speak up for myself.
Yeah. I will think of myself at the very last. Before, like
Yeah.
after everyone's placed, everyone's settled, I will be the last choice for myself. And speaking of choices, I think it's a lot to do with personal choices as well. I mean, it's not necessarily that that a women, and I think today's women, like I am pursuing MBA right now, and I am all ready to be a part of the corporate world. I think it's a lot to do with personal choices. It's about how much hours do you want to put personally, and are your milestones of getting married at 25, or are your milestones of getting married at whenever it happens? So it's got a lot to do with personal choices, I think, in today's era. Miss Vaidya,
Can I just add to this?
yes,
Yeah,
I was
because
just getting to your point. Would you like to add to this?
I actually have a very different view on this. I actually don't agree. I have a very
Right,
different thought about it. Marriage, so the only thing that's actually a biological thing that can't change is the fact
right,
that you have to take time off at times when you deliver, right?
right.
But I think now the rules, people are becoming more supportive. I actually think the fundamental problem is that people do these things of having quota for men and women. We are the ones, if you do that, you're actually creating these issues more and more, and creating that there's a separate thing for women
Absolutely.
and a separate thing for men. It shouldn't be like that. It should just be equal on both sides. It's purely based on your merit. It's purely based on your skill set and who can deliver. The moment
Absolutely.
unconsciously, purely based only on skill set, we had 64% of our workforce at Dr. Vaidya as women. It was not a conscious decision. It was a decision purely made on merit and work, right? So I'm actually a very, you people call me anti-feminist, but it's not about being anti-feminist. I'm actually a person who looks at it, the moment you start talking about it like this, that, oh, women quota, oh, you need to encourage women, I think that's where you're losing the battle before it starts. Start talking about it as an equality thing. Start treating yourselves as equal. Everyone's talking about confidence. You're not giving women confidence by saying that they should be part of a quota, or we should try and encourage it. No, speak to them as if they're individual equals. There should be no disparity of men quota, women quota, or we should have so many CXO women. No, I think this barrier
Right.
needs to go completely. It's purely based on your own meritocracy, and that's what we need to look at. I mean, I worked with my husband, we worked together, we both did worked equally hard when it comes to concepts like marriage and all. I mean, we got married while we were working. I didn't take more time off or less time off. We took the equal same. There are some things I pitch in, there are some things he pitches in. So I think it's a lot
Right.
to do with the society also, of your surrounding system. That needs to change. That mindset needs to change. That, oh,
Right.
I'm getting married, I need to take 3 months off, 6 months off. Oh, that's not how it works. Oh, I'm having a child. Okay, physically, I need to have 3 months off typically. That no one can change. A husband can't. But then it needs to be a system that, okay, I want to go back to work after 3 months. Does my husband help with feeding? Do we get help? Do we work towards that together? So I'm actually very against this concept of quotas for women, very against this concept that it's hard to find people. No,
Right.
don't treat it as different, treat it as equal. then it happens.
No,
Right.
I've just, I think she got me wrong. I was not promoting, I mean, I have a different view on diversity in quotas. I was not promoting that we have, but I'm like, why does even that little percentage not get fulfilled? Because you don't see that many applications. And then I went
I
that
think
why
whatever that
you don't
exists
see
also
that
is
many
not
applications.
right.
Yeah.
I think what Ms.
Yeah.
Griva is
That's
trying to say is that the whatever 2% that exists, even that is not being able to match to our expectations. And it is again, burdened with the societal pressures and mindset. And then to add to it, rightly so, what Ms. Vaidya said, that even that 2% also shouldn't exist. But I feel to just a food for thought, we live in a country like India, wherein reservation was initially reinstated to give equal opportunities to people, and over years this reservation has turned into a tool wherein like a easy way in, like a shortcut or a easy way in, which has worked in the favor of men, and not women. So I think from this question what we gauge is that at the end of the day, we have to be able to stand for ourselves, and no one is going to do that for us, irrespective of anybody, that is our family or friends. So yeah. My next question is directed to Ms. Griva. So, we are a part of a very progressive working environment in corporates, though certain human aspects associated with it never change. For example, if a woman is climbing the ladder of success at a faster rate, the male counterparts don't necessarily take it well. So, in your opinion, how do you survive this patriarchal work culture? As an HR, like what will be your view on the patriarchal work culture that is still existing in our country, and not just our country, globally too?
I have actually personally, I will not dismiss this question as if it doesn't happen, but I'll clarify that this hasn't happened to me personally at Uber because I was in tech and ops, and almost all of my team was male. So usually you will see females in marketing and HR roles, which is like typically the feminine. Ops and tech
Right.
lack women. So my issue was different, that I was not able to speak, and I don't know whether it was because of younger or you are from, most men were like IIT IIM graduates, and I had a policy and political background before that. So I haven't personally faced this, that men are not helpful or they are this thing, but that's because I also set the criteria, or that company had a criteria which was very objective on metrics. So I was like, I'm not going to do this motherly work of office parties and this that. Matlab, you give me a set of objective criteria. These are my KPIs. How many trips do I get in? How much revenue does my team get in? And
I think we are facing a small technical glitch on Ms. Griva's phone.
hi, can you hear me? I think I'm back.
Yeah, could you
Yeah.
just repeat the last thing that you said?
Yeah, I was saying that the first point I'm trying to make in that is that how to navigate male, whatever patriarchal bias they might have, is set objective metrics. That these are my goals and this is what I'm set to achieve. Anything plus or minus is bonus for you as an employee, which I'm giving. So the criteria should be very objective. And for me, in ops, it is usually very easy, like your efficiency metrics or your trip metrics or like how much business you're getting in. So that has to be very fair. So the scale of comparison is fair so that nobody can complain later. And the second part is, yeah, you have to put in extra effort to get along with that kind of male culture also, that you need to go and hang around with them. And if you're young and if you can do that, that is when they see you as a person and not just someone they are competing with. So I feel like just being extra friendly, or developing a personal space outside is also very important with men, because unfortunately, fortunately, this is the reality. So if you want to step
Right.
forward, this is what uh, you need to
Right.
do
So,
in
just a
terms of,
follow up question with what you
yeah,
just said.
yeah.
Would you like to break the myth that a woman who is trying to be friendly at workplace is just trying to be friendly and that is it? It stops there. Because again, there's a lot of hysteria around how it gets very toxic when a woman tries to make the first move, if I may use the word, in a workplace just to fit in. And
No,
so,
I meant this thing as in like when you go outside of work and help them with projects. Like
right.
if example, my peer is, if they are, solving whatever ops issues, but they have some police issue and which I can help with, I will go and help it. So the friendliness also is work related, that I
Work
am
related,
helping you
exactly.
put one step forward. I don't think encouraging that kind of personal equations with everybody is required or even necessary. You friendship by I mean that you can help them with your skills, that if
Exactly.
you're better with something else, I will do that extra project for you, I will give you the limelight. And this soft power which you need to hold when you hold a team can come from hard skills also. So don't get involved personally with anybody, but yes, you can still be friends, as in work friends, like I'm helping you do a project better and I'm letting you take the credit. If it's you lose the battle to win the war, so do that.
I think what I gauge again is everything boils down to your personal choices, the boundaries that you set, the limits that you set, and to navigate through that patriarchal hierarchy or the work culture isn't as difficult. It's as difficult as you make it for yourself. I think, in a nutshell, this is what I
Maybe
gauge.
not. These are very high level tech companies like Nike, Google, Uber, that cultures
Right.
are much better set. I don't want to dismiss anybody's journey because of this, but I just want to recognize that my point of view comes from a lot of privileged corporate setting instead of the
Right. Right.
usual which most women face.
Absolutely. Right. Um, my next question would be again to the three of you. As leaders, you are prone to a variety of behaviors that your team displays towards you. One being the yes culture, where your team blindly follows and agrees to whatever you say. So, how do you identify this behavior, and what is it that you suggest a leader should do in order to inculcate a work culture that is inclined towards welcoming suggestions and negations? For example, how do you encourage your team to not just always agree to everything that you are delegating them or whatever that you are saying? I mean, how do you ask them that, if there is a counterpoint of view, it's most welcomed? Like, how do you, I first would be, how do you identify this behavior? And second would be, how do you inculcate a work culture where negations and suggestions are more than welcome? Can we start with Miss Vaidya? Your opinion on this?
Sure. So I think it's a good question. I think it's very important to make sure that you don't have robots working for you, right? That
Right,
everyone just says yes sir, yes ma'am, yes sir, yes ma'am, right? And that becomes very evident in the person's demeanor. This becomes very evident through the interviewing process as well.
right,
I think the best way you can encourage them again is to give them ownership, right? So before you give a suggestion, actually ask them, what would you do? Hear them out. And I think a lot of, like, I made this mistake as well, is if I hear a suggestion, it's up to me as a leader to give it a fair chance to actually implement that suggestion. If I just
right.
keep asking people for suggestions and doing my own thing, after a point, the person's going to turn around and say, boss, then you're wasting my time. Just tell me what you want done, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very important to actually let someone feel that they're heard and let them action it. Encourage
Right,
that a little bit. You can always, like, tomorrow, if someone comes and tells me, oh, I think we should do X, Y, Z, and I see that there's a flaw in that, it's my job to kind of guide them and make them question it and say, by the way, I think, what about this? I see this as a problem. Let them defend it, right? And let them
right.
implement it. Sometimes you have to also let people make their own mistakes. I feel for them to learn. We all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Which leader doesn't make a mistake? Which human doesn't? But I think it's all about encouraging them, giving them the chance versus just saying do XYZ and micromanaging. That won't work.
Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Miss Dhara, your views on it?
Yes, I agree with her. And I also have a take on that. Now we are emerging in a world where there are more of young people than of like the, I would not say, but millennials. So youngsters have the tendency, now they have access to information, they have access to technology. So they have a tendency to always cross check. So even if you give them any suggestion, even if you give them any uh, orders, they will always have a second opinion ready with them. So it's better to hear them, it's better to understand that for which role they are talking. Sometimes they talk out of their job roles too, that ये कर लेते हैं, ये कर लेते हैं, चलो ये भी करते हैं. But sometimes we also need to remind them that about the vision and about why they were hired, and if it is in the faith of the company or your culture, then why not? Okay, so as a leader you need to stay very open, and you also need to stay very open for change. Like there can be yesterday only one person, he suggested me about starting a new location for company, and he will take entire ownership of that location because he has some personal issue. He doesn't want to change the company, but he thinks that uh, if changing, like if expanding a location near his hometown will resolve his issue, and he we will also expand, then this is something for my business. I also need to think like a business point of view, that yes, if his opinion is more adding value to my profit, to my growth, then why not? So I agree, but yes culture, I do not promote the yes culture, but there should be some decency, respect. Like who is always arguing, who is always having disputes, that also is not good, it is toxic. So
Yes.
in group decision making, what I promote is about collecting issues, discussing it, and then having a poll, that if entire room thinks that that issue, first of all, if entire room thinks that it is an issue, then only we consider it as an issue or initiative. Otherwise, like in my company, we believe into team decision making only,
Right.
like we take everyone's inputs and then only we go forward.
Right.
After that we discuss that what if it is, what if it is not, and then finally the one who has raised the issue, they only select the suggestions.
So I think
So
from what you said, steering back to the fact that there is a yes culture that sometimes exists in an corporate, what you are trying to say is that now there's a flip side to it. Now there are employees who come forward and want to do more and beyond their job description, is what you're
yes,
trying
they are.
to get at.
They are,
Right.
they are.
I
If I
think three
talk about
very
my stream, then they are doing more than
right.
that, and then they expect a lot too at the end of the year, at the end of it. But
Right.
I think that if we talk about business point of view, then adding up into their positions or financials is like something like comparatively it is very much lesser than what they have actually contributed, like the idea they have contributed. वो आपको कहीं और ढूंढने जाना होता तो it would
Right.
have taken a lot, you would have hired a lot of consultants for that. You have
Right.
actually not hired the employees, now you have consultants sitting on every seats. If they are doing a lot of research on their own, then hearing them is the best way possible.
Definitely. So steering back to my question that was about yes culture, I think what Miss Vaidya's inputs were about how you should give a fair chance to your team members, their ideas, and allow them the space to make mistakes in order to curb that yes culture right then and there. I think very interesting, three very different takes on this question. My next question is directed to Ms. Dhara. So the path of a leadership starts with working under an existing leader first. So at an entry level, there are n number of mistakes that an individual tends to make. So what are the common mistakes that people make while they appear for interviews, according to you?
Yes, so interviews, uh, very good question. I would say that that's the emerging issue, I would say, that I am facing currently. Like it is wasting a lot of time from employer side, and on the other side candidates are also losing on a lot of good companies. Like they are now treating naukri.com, linkedin, everything like Instagram and Facebook. Okay, like they are getting to know about one company, they are just clicking on apply, like without even reading the job description, without even knowing about the company, without even going on their website and studying about the company, its growth, its people. They are just being so impulsive, like एक साथ एक दिन में 15 जॉब, भले अपनी जॉब में भी they are very happy, or even they have not even completed their studies or something, but they are being so impulsive on this. So that is to
Right.
be avoided. Another is about they want to brag a lot about I am a marketing student or I am an engineering student, but when they appear in the interview, uh, it is really an issue, I would say, that they do not have even basic knowledge about the job skills required for that what they have applied for. They are being so ignorant about unknown numbers. So they should be knowing that if I have applied for certain jobs, then I will get calls from unknown numbers. They just now they want a kind of private life that उनको लगता है बैंक से कॉल आया होगा, कोई जंक कॉलर होगा, and they ignore the calls, and that's how it happens that they lose on first opportunity to talk with the recruiter.
Right.
And when they appear finally in the interview, then they don't ask a lot of questions upfront. Like
Right.
they should have the, like, I would love if someone is also being open and asking me questions. That's how chances of getting selected increases. If I see that that person is also really much, very much interested in the job role, knowing the company, and also sharing some insight. If you are a fresher, then learning the website and learning some recent news will help you a lot to be stand apart
Right.
from the crowd in interview. So some mistakes that I suggested that is happening, that they are being very impulsive, and some of the people have just lost the track from the traditional methods of applying, कि इतने मतलब लिंक्डइन की पोस्ट भी हमने रीड नहीं की है और आई एम इंटरेस्टेड लिख के भेज दिया विदाउट इवन सेंडिंग देम द रिक्वेस्ट और सेंडिंग देम इन मेल. दिस वर वेरी मच इफेक्टिव
Right.
प्रोसेसेस के मुझे टाटा में चाहिए तो मैं टाटा के एचआर को ही ईमेल लिख के विद अ वेरी गुड प्रोफाइल आई विल सेंड. बट अभी वो थोड़ा सा, इट इज काइंड ऑफ यू आर गोइंग इन अ मार्केट एंड सिलेक्टिंग वट एवर वेजिटेबल्स यू वांट टू, एंड देन
Right. Right.
it is being
I'm sorry, Miss
so
Dhara,
general.
that I'm having to cut you. But since we're running out of time, I think in a nutshell, what we understood was that candidates come without enough homework. They do not know a lot about, or don't have enough information of the job that they're appearing to. Second would be that impulsive decisions, wanting to hop from one job to another without really thinking it through whether this is what they want. And the third being that they come without learning new skills. They think that this is
Yeah.
what they learn on job instead of even trying to learn something, some acquiring some skills to add value to the job that they want to land up at. um, Quite interesting actually. I have one last question for all our three panelists, and it's a very interesting question. That if you were given a power or probably a magic wand to implement some change as women leaders, and when I say women leaders, not just bring change in the world of women entrepreneurs or women wanting to do something, but also globally for men too. What is that one change? If you had the power, you would like to bring? Can we start with Miss Vaidya?
What is the one change I would like if I had the power to make one change?
Yeah,
What would it be?
yeah,
Um, I think genuinely I guess I'm going to speak more from an India perspective because I think
right,
that's where, closest to my heart. But I wish we could just eradicate a little bit of the history of men and
right,
women, right? And just
right,
kind of make sure that from the get go, from the beginning, we could have had the thought of equal opportunities for
right,
both versus having this difference. And I think encouraging education, I think it stems from there in the beginning.
right, right. Absolutely. Miss Dhara, your take on it?
I would say that having open mindset and accepting the differences of people, like from the day one, if I talk about who is an entrepreneur or who is in the job, to accepting that they are an individual first of all. I would have changed then everyone's mindset that they are an individual. उनकी हिस्ट्री जो भी उनका जॉब जो है वो एक साइड पे है बट दे आर एन इंडिविजुअल एंड ट्रीट देम लाइक एन इंडिविजुअल फर्स्ट. That would
Right,
have been my change that I would make.
right. And Miss Griva, what would you do?
So very interesting question. So I thought that somehow this vicious cycle is there, that you can't be what you can't see. So there are not enough women politicians, there are not enough women leaders. So somehow if I had a magic wand, can I just reset it? Like the world begins with like 50-50, and then everything else will fall in place because you're already there, all these struggles. So if there was really a magic wand, make 50-50 without ideally any diverse quota or any of that, just like suddenly rearrange the world that it's already 50-50 and take it from there.
Right. Like,
Vicious
that's
thinking.
three very interesting powers that you would want to use. A very quick question to Miss Trisha. We have someone who's asked this question that, hey Trisha, you ran your business with your husband Arjun, but whenever the conflict arises, how are you resolving that conflict with him? Because in this, your emotions also come to play. So how do you manage conflicts?
I got this question quite a lot, during our journey as well. Look, it was very
Right.
simple. We had divided departments, right? So
Right.
there were certain departments I was in charge of, there were certain departments he was in charge of. There is unfortunately or fortunately no room for ego. You both know that the company is at the forefront and Dr. Vaidya's is what you're passionate about. Arguments, do they happen? 100%. And it was a very simple thing. Either you argue it out and convince the other one, or whoever's department it is has final say, and you respect that. Once a decision is made, if that's work doesn't work, it doesn't matter. That decision is respected. You trust that person, right? The advantage is that you live together, you work together. Your personal fight can't drag on because then you have a work thing to discuss. Your work fight can't drag on because you have a personal thing to discuss, right? So
Absolutely.
your fights get quite shortened.
Right.
I think I mean the respect comes and there's no room for ego.
I think so. In a nutshell, from this 45-minute long discussion, what I could gauge was that to run a team, you need diversification, you need some psychological safety, you need to ask for feedbacks, you need to delegate properly. Then, when it comes to talking about how to navigate through the patriarchal culture, work culture, it all boils down to having faith in yourself as women. And I think at the end of everything that we've discussed and the very stimulating opinions that we've had from the three of you, I feel it all comes down to mindsets and choices. As women, what are the choices that we make? Because with every, I feel as women, with every decision that we make, there is a consequence to it. More than the men, there are consequences to every decision that we make as women. And that is something that we have to always consider. Thank you so much to the three of you. It was these opinions, these takes were stimulating. We actually had very interesting insights and takeaways from whatever all three of you had to say. So thank you so much for being with us today. I thank each and every panelist for joining us today. Leadership is a very complex phenomena, and we sure got to understood it better and on a very personal level today, if I may add. Um, I would like to add this also, that this is a charity event with the target of distributing 500 sanitary pads amongst the underprivileged and the women deprived from even the basic of the necessities. So there's a link available on which you can make the donations, and there's also a number available on the screen for the same. Once again, a very happy Women's Day to all of you. Let the change begin here.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Hi, thank you so much, Shrushty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So like 26 people have like right now live on our YouTube channel. So first of all, guys, if you have not liked the stream, then please do drop a like because our YouTube algorithm ऐसे ही काम करेगा, हम लोगों को ज़्यादा push मिलेगा और लोगों को notification भेजेगा वो. And the second thing, ये donation stream है, ये charity stream है, तो please donate. ये जितना भी fund जो हम लोग raise करने वाले हैं, there is going to be we will distribute this for sanitary pads एंड रूरल एरियाज़ में जितनी भी गर्ल्स है, जितने भी स्कूल्स है, वहाँ पे जाके हम लोग ये सैनिटरी पैड्स का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करने वाले हैं. सो प्लीज़ डोनेट. ऑल द डिटेल्स आर इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑल्सो, और वो आपको स्क्रीन के ऊपर आपको फ्लोट भी होता रहेगा. सो टू स्टार्ट विथ आर नेक्स्ट पैनल, I would like to introduce the host of this panel. Please welcome Bhanvi Patel, and she is going to take the in charge of the second panel, named Clarity and Confidence. So please welcome Bhanvi. Hi, Bhanvi.
Yeah, hi. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for introducing me.
Thank you. Bye.
So, hello everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna host on today's topic, which is confidence and clarity, which I believe is very much necessity and essential for today's every single child, every single girl, female audience specifically. So let me just call out our special guest, three panelists, which I'm very much excited and also willing to talk to. So the three
I believe if you have watched the poster, you might know that the three of them, one is Ridhima Arora, who is the founder of Namhya Foods. You might have also seen her in Shark Tanks if you're watching it. So she actually, I have personally seen her, and truly, like, you might feel ke brag career, but truly it's commendable that you stand in front of them and you are confident and you are so clear with your thoughts and brand when they are contradicting your thoughts. So welcome, Ridhima.
Thank you
And
so
another one, yeah, another one is Prachi Shah, who is a dietitian and nutritionist and also founder of Health Appetite. So I think into such a niche and getting your own space in, like, being a female entrepreneur and specifically into such niche and being so much confident that you will be able to pull out that idea is something like I admire. So welcome,
Thank you.
Prachi. Yeah, and the third one is Nishma Singhal. I have personally met her, and I know the energy and enthusiasm and the confidence she brings onto the stage. So, and I have seen her with the podcast. I might spill some beans here, but yeah. So people might also see you in our podcast very soon. So welcome, Nishma.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm over energized right now. So I'll just start with the first question, which I think is very much seen and observed. I have personally into the audience here that sometimes people are clear, matlab they have the clarity, but they don't have the confidence to pull their ideas out or to work on it. And sometimes they have the confidence, but they don't have the clarity about what they should be doing. So, what do you guys have to say on this? Like, what are your takes on this? So, we'll start with Ridhima.
I think there's a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence, and I'm sure everybody knows that. Um, but understanding that what is coming out of your gut and what is in line with your consciousness or in line with what actually you feel is right for you, and then distinguishing it from your ego can very well help you figure out whether it's confidence, overconfidence, or is it in the right place. Also, not trusting yourself sometimes also puts you in the bracket of being confident, being but not being able to speak it out sometimes, which is again underconfidence. So I think there is a very thin line between what you mentioned. But having said that, I think it's just about understanding that are you in line with um, with your thought process. And if you are, and if you're realistic about it, which is to say that you have numbers to support it, probably when in business, say you have a thought process to support it when it comes to more subjective issues in life, I think that thin line, understanding the thin line will sort of resolve what you just mentioned, is what I feel.
Very true, very true. So, understanding the thought process first and then working on it and developing that confidence within. So, to put that idea into practice is basically what you mean to say. Okay. Prachi, what do you want to say about it?
So I always feel that if you have clarity, I think confidence will always follow, because no matter whatever you want to pursue in life in terms of your, say career, which is what something that that we put a lot of focus to. If you know, and if you like say, if you know your passion, if you are clear that what exactly want to do in life, because this is my own personal case that I would share is from a very young age. I was somebody who loved working around food, who loved to cook. I would start working with my own body in terms of nutrition, in terms of fitness, exercises. So from the beginning I was very clear that what I like and what it I just enjoy doing what I've been doing. So through that I got a lot of clarity of that what I want to do in life. And when you know your subject, when you know what you're doing, when you know how you want to grow, or if you have a vision in your life that from if I want to rise from here till here,
your confidence will always follow, because you are very much clear about how you want to carve your way, and that is something which is very important. And when you know the math behind each and everything that you want to achieve, it becomes really easy for yourself to execute it, for yourself to have that kind of confidence in your own personality. So I think clarity comes very much in the beginning, which you need to freeze and lock, and I think everything else would follow ahead out of it.
Yeah. So just finding out what you love, doing it,
Yeah.
and like getting a clarity on it that you will be able to do it, and then gaining the confidence along the way. Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
Okay,
And
Nishma,
I
what do you
think
want to?
from if you want to start from somewhere and if you want to reach out to somewhere, you need to start on day one. You can't just sit and say that, oh no, I don't have confidence. How will I do it? You just need to close your eyes and jump into the sea. That's how you're going to start. Like, you just know how to swim. So that is something that you have to take that step.
Yeah, risk. So that is what we have to take, right? Correct. Nishma, what do you want to say?
So, it have actually happened with me. I always had a clarity that I wanted to do something in cosmetics, but what it would be, how it would be, I always lacked a little bit of confidence. So, how I gain confidence, as I actually agree with Prachi, is कि जब तक आप समुद्र में कूदोगे नहीं तैरना आएगा नहीं. That is one thing. But then another is like mentoring. What I feel is कि जब तक आपको अच्छे mentor नहीं मिलते, they are not going to show you direction, but they are going to show you different directions. कि आप कौन सी डायरेक्शन में आप अगर ए करोगे तो आपको ये डायरेक्शन मिलेगी, बी करोगे तो आपको बी ये आप इस पाथ पे जा सकते हो. सो आई फील आपको कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा सा तब और ज्यादा आता है जब आपको आपका जो आइडिया है थोड़ा सा वैलिडेशन मिलती है. वो आपको कहाँ से मिलती है? मेंटोर से. Like people who have a little bit of better experience than you, आप उनसे जाइए, उनसे पूछे. That is how you gain a little bit of confidence.
So I think I'll just sum up the. I think there your answers, all the three answers are kind of linked, and it says, "K first thing, just clarity in terms of what you are loving. Just do that. Then you gain the knowledge of it by the essence of mentorship, and once you do that, you just feel confident. You just take the risk and just keep on going. So on the process, you will just have that confidence. So clarity and then gaining the confidence out of it is what I believe is the outtake of it. Okay. So I'll ask Ridhima. I've been, intrigued by this thing, and I wanted to ask you this. So finally, got the chance. When you came in Shark Tank, I have, listened to this pitch of yours, and you were obviously talking about your brand and up to the investors. And at the time, there was a time when Vinita Singh said that I don't believe in the idea that it could cure diabetes, and there was a feeling of doubt on your concept, on your idea, but you still sustain, you still kept didn't let your barriers down, and you were still pitching out that no, I have faith and belief in my idea and concept. So how was your feeling at that time? Like, how did you not lose your confidence and clarity about those your brand, your idea, when this was
I
happening?
think in the last 3 years, this is the only thing that I've done. My day in, day out, my nights, my days, my mornings, everything has been about this brand. I started this during the pandemic, so there was no going out. It just boiled down to sitting in the room, doing brainstorming, doing things, to sort of selling, getting feedbacks, doing customer calls myself. So it started like that. And I would be wrong if I say that my last 3 years were anything beyond this. So I think when you know your business well, this is not something that I created. It's already existing in the universe. It's just that, we failed to sort of recognize and appreciate it. My grandfather has been in this last 80 years. And we've seen results. In fact, in my own small capacity, whatever it was in the last 3 years, I have seen results on people. People have messaged back. And see, as a customer, I am somebody who's not going to like message back or appreciate or do anything back to the brand. I'm the worst customer because I'm not. I like it, I don't like it, I'm not going back and giving any feedback to the brand, but if you sell out 100 units, and if there are 50 people who are coming back to you and saying thank you that you did this, or thank you that you created this effect in my mom's life, in my life, especially for women who don't get periods. I mean, when you have that support, I don't think any platform, any person, or anything like that can really deter you, which is, I guess, what happened. And, I understand what Vinita asked, and I completely agree with her, because there have been apprehensions about Ayurveda. There have been issues with how the concept is looked upon like. And what you see actually in the episode is only like a fraction or a part, or a very small part of it. It was an extension, like the whole episode was about 1.5 hours, and she also got convinced, and that part is obviously not shown. But honestly, I think any and every entrepreneur would agree to that. If you're doing something day in day out, even if that's what you breathe in, breathe out, I don't think anything can waver your confidence if you have the customer support.
Yeah. So I think your belief and your experience about your product was such that it didn't shatter, even if people were poking you or against the idea or even had the doubt. It didn't let you self doubt your ideas and your brand image. Yeah. Commendable, commendable. Okay. So, one common question to all three of you. So, I think I and even every female audience watching here, everyone needs to know about. Matlab, it's like, what are those three or even any? How many do you know? You can tell, but how? What are those three major tricks that if we follow, then we'll be able to build that confidence that you three have, like speaking over here. So, what could be those three tricks? Okay, starting with Nishma.
So, first thing I would say is stop criticizing yourself. As a woman, हम जो है बचपन से जो है हमें इनडायरेक्टली वो बोला जाता है, अच्छा ये ऐसा मत करो, ये क्या कहेंगे, अरे आप रो रहे हो, देखो सारे कोई बच्चा रो नहीं रहा, आप ये देख रहे हो. सो दैट जजमेंट वो हमें बचपन से वो डाली जाती है. सो फर्स्टली स्टॉप जजिंग योरसेल्फ. इट्स ओके अगर आप कुछ चीज गलत करो, क्या होगा, आप ज्यादा फेल हो जाओगे. इट्स ओके, लर्न, गेट अप एंड वापस कर लेना. एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज, इफ यू डोंट नो समथिंग, एक्सेप्ट दैट फैक्ट कि अगर आपको कुछ नहीं आता, एक्सेप्ट दैट, बट टर्न दैट इनटू समथिंग पॉजिटिव. आपका अगर आपको कुछ नहीं आता, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई एम अ साइंस स्टूडेंट, maths is something, which I am learning as my entrepreneur journey is going on. So that is okay. It's a path. उसी में तो मजा है, सीखने में ही तो मजा है, turning your negatives into positive. And third one, I would say, always put your opinion with peace and grace. अगर आप जो है गुस्से पे करोगे तो कोई भी नहीं सुनेगा, बट अगर आप प्यार से जो है कोई ओपिनियन रखोगे तो everyone will tend to listen to you. So, these are the three things which I follow. This is sort of my mantra. And yes, stop listening to other people, near and dear ones. Stop listening to them. वो critique करते हैं. Listen to your mentors.
Commendable, commendable. I'm keeping a note of this. Okay, Prachi, what do you want to say?
So the three things that I feel that every woman should work upon is, number one, that don't be scared to be ambitious. You can be ambitious in whichever way you want, and there's nothing wrong in it. The world is changing. And not only about world, even India is changing, and each and every human being, we are trying like our best to make sure that each and every person is equal between male and female. And obviously there's a lot of change in the mentality of people as well, and that is really good. So don't be afraid of being ambitious. If you have something in mind, if you have something that you can achieve and you can have a great life with it, don't step back, just keep moving ahead. So that is one. Number two is to stay consistent with whatever you've started. I have seen a lot of people who, who would come with an idea and then they would execute it, but then the consistency becomes a problem. And that's when your services can be degraded. That's when, the way you are portraying yourself can also degrade. So that is something which is very important. No matter anything, if you have put your mind to something, be very, very consistent and go for it. Do not leave it in the middle. There 100% there are going to be lots of ups and downs, and most of them are going to be downs. But as Ridhima also said that you'll fall down, but obviously you will get up and you'll learn out of it. So that is something which is very important. And the third thing is to make sure that you have a great balance in life. It's very important, and that is something that I've experienced with myself also. Being such, I'm a biggest workaholic in my house, so I would really want to give out that word to other females out there that if you are someone who's very ambitious, who wants to have a, who loves to work, but it is, it is very important to have a work life balance which can give you a better feeling about your own self, which can give you both satisfaction in your like your happy life, or when you are unwinding, or if you're out for travel, and it can also give you a good satisfaction with what work you're doing. So it's really important to have that balance. So I think these three things in the current scenario are very important.
Very true, very true. So I think being ambitious, but at the same time keeping that work-life balance is something actually, yeah, I didn't even thought of. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
essential. Okay. Ridhima, what do you want to say?
I think they've kind of summed it up, but I can only tell from my mistakes probably. I think initially I had a lot of apprehensions, I had a lot of self doubts. So when you're starting up, of course, you need to do pilot, you need to validate your concept, you need to do all those things, but don't delay the process of your progression just because you're self-doubting yourself every failure hour, after every third drop in sales, or whatever the case may be. So I think I would say don't self-doubt a lot. Of course, have your numbers in place, have your understanding of the segment in place, have your pilot runs in place, but don't self doubt. Second, again from my own experience, I was a little inconsistent in the beginning. I would blame it on the external environment, which was a scenario of a pandemic. But now, when I look back, I think it was my self doubt sort of going over my progress, and that sort of, making me a little bit of inconsistent. So I think that's something that I would definitely say. Third, I think whatever you do in your life, do it for the right reasons. Don't become an entrepreneur because you get to come to shows and talks and events, and it seems very glamorous. It's not glamorous at all. I mean, if I go down to the kind of stuff I do on a daily basis, we had Shark Tank, of course, and the sales really went up. We had our production running for it was on a churn rate of I mean, it was rotating in three times, so like it started at 8 p.m. and would close at 8 started at 8 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m. So I've sat down on floors and packed couriers to delivering the couriers at 11 o'clock in the night. So I've done all of those things, and so the idea is that do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because it looks fancy or my friends are also doing it. Don't do that. So I think probably these three things.
Yeah. So just don't follow others. Like if others are doing it, you just don't need to replicate it into yourself, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. And so while we were talking about self doubt, I just had this question like, Prachi, you are into a segment where I believe there are many competitions. Like if I go down anywhere to the lane, I can see nutritionists, dietitians, many more. So how is it happening that you are not losing that self doubt in yourself when you are around so many people? There's a competition all around, and you are still like कि नहीं मतलब मुझे यहीं पे रहना है. I'm gonna follow this niche because it's a niche market to be precise,
Correct.
and you are still following it. So how do you do that?
So initially in my career, I did have a lot of self-doubt that how I'm going to survive when there are, well-known celebrity nutritionists. And if you go to a metro city or something like that, every lane would have 5 to 6 diet clinics. And that would be, I would get into a self-doubt that, how will I be able to survive? How will I be able to enter the market? But as I said, that I had the clarity and I wanted to carve my way, I just jumped into it. And as and when I started working with different clients and the results and everything that they got, the trust of the clients that they would put into me, because they would get a certain result out of whatever fitness goals they have, and that is what kept me on, and gave me a lot more confidence that why are people coming to me, and why are people who are coming to me are referring me to somebody else, because they like my services, they are getting what results they are aiming at, and with a very comfortable and a very different perspective of having a healthy lifestyle. And now these days, anybody and everyone, even if I ask you, I'm sure you will be also able to tell me that what to eat, what not to eat. That's so generalized in today's world. But when you talk to an expert, when you talk to a qualified nutritionist or a dietitian, it makes a huge difference. And in today's world, we do not have a lot of authenticity that ways, because you can just Google, come to know a few foods, start eating it, you might get results. So all of these things are very generalized. When you come to an expert, when you talk to them, there are hundreds of things which are on the peripheral of those things. So scientifically working into it, giving the best of services to my clients and getting their results and making and them being happy made me go on to my path, that no, I can do this. And here I am doing it even more. And it becomes it becomes a part of your daily lifestyle, that you want to hustle, you want your client anyhow, that they need to get what results they aim at. So constant energy into it, constant research, constant updates in my own knowledge is something that gave me a lot of confidence to be there and to keep on doing what I'm doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, by your story, I was able to, take that thing out which you said before, like following first ambitious about your thing and then being confident enough on and not even being consistent about it. So, and
Yeah.
you did the same thing, and that was the result out of it.
And
Commendable.
I think being very patient is also is very important. You will not see anything overnight. It's been over 5 years that I'm working, and to be very honest, I'm seeing great results only from the past 2 years. The first 3 years were like foundation, and I was just into building blocks, that this is what platform that I want to provide. So you need to be very, very patient with what you're doing. If you are on the right path, if you're doing the right work, and if you're with the right ethics, your success is bound to follow you. So patience is a key, I feel.
Yeah. So consistency, patient, being ambitious, doing it for a long run. Oh, amazing. Okay. Okay. So Nishma, I wanted to ask you about this. So we had a talk before, and you said that you have an constant approach, open approach towards learning, and I have even seen you that you do a lot of public speaking. Like you are so confident. Like you go to the various platforms where you do public speaking. You have a constant. You even have this thing that I think you only said that there are, if you meet someone new during the day, you just learn something out of it. So how do you gain those attributes, like how it is helping you into those positivity, developing that positivity, confidence, clarity in yourself? So can you just elaborate a little on this?
So right now only I learned something from you, Ridhima, and Prachi itself. So I don't know. I mean, I think it is something inbuilt in me. Whenever I meet someone, so I tend to grasp and look at the very positive aspect. तो जैसे रिद्धिमा से Shark Tank पे जाके I'm sorry I haven't seen the episode, but as what I seen कि she was not disappointed, rather she looked at the brighter side कि the sales got 3 times and they were meeting those numbers, and वो एक glitch आया, but they did not see that, they lived beyond that. So,
Hmm.
I tend to, I think it is self generated or something to look something positive from, learn something from everyone, which
Yeah.
I adapt according to my own scenario and everything. I think it's inbuilt. I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't help it.
No, no, no. It's actually, so that is what we are here for. Like learning the process, learning how to, imbibe those attributes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think, I believe I've gained so many points from this now, that first of all, loving yourself, doing that thing which you like, taking the risk on it, gaining that confidence. So the clarity and the confidence comes along. Secondly, if you're doing that, then you do it with consistency. You take a risk also. You ignore the criticisms. You don't have do that self doubt thing. I believe the three of you do. And so lastly, I have this little upside down question, that what you three do to uplift your mood when you are into your low phases, when you don't feel like working, or you are a little low in energy. What is that one thing or two, any kind of things you do? So starting with Ridhima.
It depends on my mood. I usually run. I used to run marathons, but now it's gone a little lesser. Um, but usually my idea is to run, or if I don't have the energy to run, I will probably watch something, very light comedy where I don't have to put my brains. I usually pick one of the two. Either I run or dance, or probably I'll pick up something in comedy. That's what I do.
I also do the same thing. I also start watching something which doesn't make sense, but it's
Yeah.
just lights up my mood. Like getting out of that space, and getting something which is not at all in the context. Yeah. Okay. Nishma, what do you do?
So, an honest answer is I sleep. So if I am feeling negative, or that is for sure my energy is drained out and I am getting to negative feeling, I sleep and I just sleep my guts out and please don't disturb me. And once I get up, I know what I needs to be done to make things right.
Yeah, I've even heard of this from the podcast itself, that when you sleep and when you wake up with more clear thoughts about what you need to do. You are stuck somewhere, you just sleep, have a break, and then you become more clear on it. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, understandable, commendable. Oh, Prachi, what do you do?
So I love to exercise. So whenever I'm not in the mood, or if I'm feeling low, I do like a quick 30-40 minute of some kind of different exercises. I love to do a lot of variations. I love to learn new movements when I do different exercises. So that is something that I look forward to. And after that, it gives me a very good high in my mood, because it makes me feel much stronger, much fitter. My body feels way better. And I don't know, it's not scientifically proven, but it's in my mind that if I sweat it out, all my worries are going out of my body. So that is something that keeps me going.
Yeah, I think that is just because that when you exercise, you just not only, like when you're working, you are giving exercise to your mental brain, and when you are exercising, your physical body also starts activating, and with that your mental exercise also happens. So ultimately there is an alignment between the two.
True.
Yeah, commendable. And actually, I was somewhere guessing that being a nutritionist, dietitian, you might do exercise or something, and that happened.
I also eat.
I think all of us do that. That is
Yeah,
the all-time
stress
go-to
eating
thing.
is very common, and I think a lot of us do it. But yeah, even I get into that trap sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, commendable. So overall, it was amazing. I swear it was so light and so amazing, smooth. Like I was, to be honest, I was a little underconfident, but I was like, "Come on, Manu, you're gonna do a session which is on confidence and clarity, so you need to do that." So I'll just sum up the points which I actually have noted, literally noted from you all. So one was to first start learning, which I have learned from all the three of you. I have noted it on. So learning getting a mentor also, that is important. Once you do that, stop listening to others. You don't need to listen and get the advice of all the people. Your mentors are essential. You start practicing on that, take risk, follow it, be consistent in the process, and with that be ambitious, and with the process you will have that clarity and confidence along the way. Yeah. So it was
And
amazing.
Manvi, you were really confident and we enjoyed you being
that that is what I actually wanted to hear.
You did it amazing. Dinesh. Keep up. Bravo.
So,
here. Yes.
thank you
And
so much.
happy Women's Day to all of us here.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Happy Wednesday to all three of you.
Yeah, we
Like
all are keeping it.
I'm enjoying. Like I could go on, but we have next session also coming up. So thank you, Ridhima. Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, Nishma, for taking out your time and even spreading out your wisdom to the audience and to me also. It means a lot. To be honest, it means a lot. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you
much for
everyone
having
for coming.
us.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, guys, just to end this up, if you all know that we are running a charity event. So the details are in the description. You just have to drop your whatsoever you want to drop in, and that will go to sanitary pads. So I believe that it is for the cause of young girls. So please do that. I believe that's all I can ask for. This is for charity. So, guys, just donate. Yeah. So, thank you so much.
So that was it. आप लोगों को बहुत कुछ पता चला होगा अबाउट क्लैरिटी एंड कॉन्फिडेंस वाई वी चोज दिस टॉपिक. इट वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज हम लोगों ने थोड़ा सा रिसर्च और थोड़ा सर्वे जैसा किया था इसके ऊपर. एंड वी द राइटली Bhanvi mentioned in the first question only that a lot of women have clarity but they don't have confidence, and if they have confidence then they don't have clarity. तो ये बहुत ऐसा कॉमन फिनोमेना हम लोगों को दिख रहा था सभी के अंदर. So we thought that this will be a very good topic for this particular stream. So we chose this, and I think all the answers that are given by Prachi, Nishma, and Ridhima will help you in your future and in your work. So our next stream is going to start in some few minutes, but before that ये सब वापस से बता देता हूँ. This is a charity stream. This is where we want to collect funds to distribute 500 sanitary pads in the rural areas of the Gujarat. So अगर आप लोग ये stream देख रहे हो then please donate on this given number जो आपके screen के ऊपर float हो रहा है. And all the details also, payment links are also mentioned in the description. तो आप वहाँ जाके भी आप कर सकते हो आपको जैसा कन्वीनियंट लगे उसके ऊपर. There is no restriction on how much money you want to give, how much you know money you want to spend, और कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है. आप एक रुपये भी दे सकते हो, आप 2 रुपये भी दे सकते हो, कुछ भी आप दे सकते हो. So it's up to you, but help us in achieving this goal of distributing 500 sanitary pads. So I'm going to announce the next panel in 1 minute. So please hold on for some few seconds. So yes, we are going to start the third discussion, which will be on how to grow and scale your small business. And before that, I just want to अब जितने भी आप लोग देख रहे हो, प्लीज पुट भानवी ओपी इन द चैट, क्योंकि उसका ये पहली बार उसने अपनी लाइफ के अंदर पहली बार उसने होस्ट किया है. दिस इज हर फर्स्ट सेट ऑफ डूइंग दिस काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, जहाँ पे वो इंटरव्यू ले रही है लोगों का, एंड शी इज डूइंग डिस्कशन एंड शी डिड अ फैंटास्टिक जॉब. तो भानवी ओपी तो बनता है गाइस, तो भानवी ओपी लिख दो चैट के ऊपर, मजा आ जाएगा. एंड इफ यू आर न्यू टू दिस चैनल देन प्लीज डू सब्सक्राइब टू आवर चैनल, और लोगों को मिलेगा. एंड अभी अभी आपने स्ट्रीम ज्वाइन की है, दैट आई एम रिपीटिंग, प्लीज डू ड्रॉप अ लाइक, तो यूट्यूब एल्गोरिथम हेल्प करेगा और लोगों तक जाएगा. एंड वी वांट कि ये जो हम लोग अवेयरनेस दे रहे हैं अबाउट वुमेन वर्क कल्चर, एंड तो वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुँचे. So I'm going to announce the next host and speaker of this panel of how to grow and scale your business. She's my senior from my college, and some of, like, I messaged her all the times in last particularly 1 year that you really inspire me. The way you are taking your business, Eri Sakhi, is really inspiration for me. So please welcome Jayati Dave, the host of How to Grow and Scale Your Business.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Utsav.
Hi Jayati, please carry
Thank you
forward.
so much for the very kind introduction. I'm very grateful to you and your team for giving me this opportunity to come here and talk to, share the space with other fellow women entrepreneurs.
Always a pleasure, Jayati. You deserve this.
And great job, Banvi. You go, girl.
Yes, yes. Okay, carry forward,
Let's
Jayati.
Absolutely. So, hello everyone. I would like to invite our speaker for today, which is who's Shrushty Shah. She has been running this digital space and building brands out of it. Hi, Shrushty.
Hi Jyoti, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Happy
Good.
Women's Day to you.
Same to you, and thank you so much
Thank
for
you. Thank you
inviting me.
too. Absolutely. It's a pleasure. And you've been doing some fantastic job. We'll talk more about that. And you're building brands online, which is like the most important, which is the tool right now. You know?
Correct.
Yeah. And let's invite the second speaker for today, who's the Shweta Dadlani. She runs a small business called Cakeolits, and she's won hearts of like half of the city by feeding cakes to people.
Hi Jyoti, I'm so glad to
Hi,
be here.
Shweta.
Happy to talk to you. Happy Women's Day, Shweta. How are you?
Happy
I'm
Women's
good.
Day. I'm so thrilled to be talking to both of you. Of course, we'll be talking about how we have scaled our small business. And to begin with it, I would like to ask you that both you and Shrushti and Shweta, both of you have uh, built your own businesses. So, what were your initial thoughts, or the plan of action when you initially thought of starting with your own companies?
Shweta, you go ahead.
Okay. So honestly, this business was actually never a plan. The plan was to, maybe because everyone was doing MBA during that time, तो मुझे खुद भी ऐसा हो रहा था that I'll also go for MBA or like run that cat race of MBA. At that point, I was not sure that I am actually passionate about cakes. It is that one time that faculty, she knew me, so she knew that I actually like making cakes and all. So she just invited me to bake a cake for her sister, and that is when we actually realized that how much I love doing that, because almost for 12 hours non-stop I was into making that cake without even having a meal. So that is when it hit me that I am actually loving this, and she was the one who motivated me to go for it.
It's truly said that best things come out unexpectedly, and I think you are an example of that. Let's know about you, Shrushti. How did you initially, charted out your business journey?
So I don't know if you know, I had a clothing brand called Color Me Black when I started my journey. So I had freshly graduated at that time. I was doing my MBA in marketing, and then I decided to do a clothing brand. And I was styling for people, and I was doing a lot of things, and it made me happy by doing so. And I was earning good profits, and everything was going stable. But then when I saw that I am having very good hold on the social media part. Like I had grown the brand only through social media, and I love designing the feeds for that. So maybe my say I was inclined towards graphics, and I had also done my internship as well as my college research work in digital marketing. So I think the digital part of it was more exciting for me, and then I started my classes for learning design professionally, and then I started this brand called the Digistory, and in just say 3 months, I got 5 clients. So it gave me a kick to do more, and it just started because it started. There was no plan.
I think that's really commendable. And right now, what field that you're in, it's like the Brahmastra of running any business. Social media is the present, the future, everything,
Correct. That is very true.
right?
That is very true. Yes.
Yeah. So this like brings me to the next question that when you guys started, was it very clear that you want to do this, or you were just like kind of taking a shot at it? Okay, chala to chala, varna like we'll see, we'll have a backup plan, or I'll do something else. Was it something like that? Shrushti, would you like to go first?
Yes, no, I did not have a backup plan. I did not take a job after my MBA. I did not sit for my placement because I knew I want to do a business. And when I started Digistory, I took domain of next 5 years. So I knew that I'm going to do this, and no matter whatever I face, I'm going to do this for next 5 years. And I did not I had struggles, and I've had a lot of issues after I started and in the pandemic, but I think I never had a backup. So this is it, and this was it I could do.
I think that's why you achieved so much in such a less time because you were so passionate and focused behind,
Yes.
building the Digistory.
And for me, this is like I can even work at 1 a.m., which I used to initially when I started. There were no business hours as such. But
Right.
it is my passion. I can do even at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I can wake up and start doing things for my clients because it's my passion.
I
You seem
think three
like
of
such a
us can
hustler.
relate with this that we really don't see a clock when we are working because it's like it
Correct.
makes us so happy that the clock is just a number actually.
Definitely, Shweta. I have seen you working so hard, but I think you should tell our audience as well that, how was there ever a second thought when you started with Kekolits? Were you like skeptical about it, or were you like, I'm just going to go after it no matter what?
So initially, Kekolets was actually not a plan because even after doing my certificate course in baking and cake art, I wanted to move out of India, and at that point, I was not prepared for Kekolets. It is then जब people started coming and telling me, oh, you bake good cakes. So तब जाके मुझे खुद पे भरोसा आया कि oh, this is actually happening. And at that time also, because of some financial crisis, I was doing my job. I was not only into Kekolets. But in 2018, it hit me hard that Kekolets is making memories. It is literally creating celebrations. And at that time, I quit my job, and that is when I decided that it's only Kekolets and it is going to be Kekolets. So after that, it's just Kekolets.
How wonderful is that? I'm so sure that so many home bakers just like got inspired from you, and now they too own a, small business. For me, it was like I was not very sure. Actually, I started my brand out of a little accident. It was the second wave of pandemic, and I was stuck in my house. We all were tested positive, and I had wondered for 6 long months that what can I do about the scraps. I was working at a fashion boutique, and there used to be so many fabric scraps lying and just being disposed of mindlessly. So I was like, I need to fix this and I need to make something out of it. And then one day I just sat and made a few designs, asked a few of my friends and family, and they said that why don't you introduce it as your business. So I was like, okay, I'll take a shot. I wasn't really determined because I had no idea where it'll hit.
Great.
Yeah, but now we are close to completing a year, and it's been loved. So I think
So
whether
yeah,
you're determined or not, it's always good to take a shot at things than just not simply not trying.
correct.
And I think
Yeah,
when it's passion and consistency, it is going to make place in people's heart.
absolutely, absolutely. Who knows that better than you? So, both of you, like Shrushti being in the social media space and Shweta being in the uh, bakery space, both of y'all segments are overly, competitive. They both are like
Correct.
very competitive, spaces. So, how do you guys plan on sustaining these things? Shweta, would you
Srishti?
like to go first?
Okay, so I'll go first. I think you always should have a USP for that. Matlab, if you have a particular, so in cakes for example, there are fondant cakes which give a good finishing to cake, and I think celebration का वो theme भी पूरा properly justify करता है. But since day one I was very clear that I want to go anti fondant, not that I have some झगड़ा with fondant kind of cakes or something, but मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि I want to focus more on taste and quality. So even with my options with desserts के मुझे इस चीज़ में specialize करना है या वो चीज़ में करना है, उन सब में एक चीज़ ऐसी कॉमन थी कि मुझे टेस्ट और क्वालिटी तो मेंटेन करना ही है नो मैटर व्हाट. अगर उसमें मुझे कुछ चीज़ें अपना कुछ सेगमेंट्स जाने देने पड़े, इट इज़ ओके फॉर मी, बट आई मेक श्योर दैट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन टेस्ट एंड क्वालिटी. So that is when I was very sure, I was very focused about it. And competitions तो I think आते रहेंगे because there are many people around us and everyone is here to grow their business. But if you are focused on a USP, for example, I am known for my रसमलाई केक, तो वहाँ पे बहुत लोग अभी रसमलाई केक बनाते हैं. But I think I have kept that thing very clear that I want to maintain the sweetness and the level of cream in my particular cake, and that has kept and that has worked as my USP in this. So I think sticking towards your USP and knowing what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep is anyways going to help you deal the competition around.
Correct. Very well said. Is that somewhere true for you too, Shrishti?
Yes, so I think I almost have same pattern. I do not provide a lot of services. I do not take a lot of clients. It's a boutique agency. So for me, I keep my bandwidth low, but my charges are a little bit higher than what other people would charge for this business because I believe in quality. And for me, I do not provide a lot of things under one roof. I provide things that are necessary and essential. But then I won't say that this is what I provide, this that is also what I provide. I don't provide PR. I don't provide offline media. I provide only social media and the things that comes along with social media, nothing offline as such now. And I'm not even planning to bring that into the concept because then my clients are coming to me for a certain aspect And I think to offer that, I need a quality team. And I think that is very essential to have a good team. And you need to be consistent every day, so that you are over and above your competition. Because my employees have also come saying that we have had worked at places but the boss was not there, and nobody
Right.
has given us even the offer letter. So things like that, when your employees do not take you seriously, you cannot grow. And
Correct.
all the successful businesses work because of the founders and the people who work for them. So competition for me is killed at this very core foundation, wherein I supervise everything that goes out. Even for the smallest client who's paying me just bare minimum, I see the work, I do the quality check, and then only it goes forward. So I think that is what makes my business different than others, and that's how I survive. Because I've retained clients, the ones that I have got in like first 3 months. So out of those five, I told you that in within 3 months I had five clients. Out of that, I
Correct.
the three clients are still there. Out of those five clients, so this was 2019. So I think that makes difference. People want you, and people want to stay with you because they know you, they've understood your process.
That's commendable, Shrushti. Really. Today we all know about, our success stories. But like initially when we started our businesses, we had our own share of sufferings, and, we had our own set of failures through which we either took out lessons and, corrected them. So if you had to give one lesson to your audience, that one mistake that they shouldn't make, what would that be?
So I think a lot of people do not simplify things, which I also did not. I think simplifying makes you do more. Simplify is equal to amplify. So first understand your business. Understand whom do you need. Are you a sole proprietor, and is your work, for example, makeup artist doesn't need a lot of people with her. But for me, I need a team so that I can survive. So you need to understand, you need to scale it. That do you need a team? How much trust do you put in your team? I did not make company contracts. I did not make employee contracts, and I have suffered a lot because of that. So understand your market, understand the regulations that comes along with it. Take a step back and understand the quarters of your business, assess them in four parts, understand what is working, what is not working, what is not paying, what is paying, and eliminate the parts that are not paying and are very expensive for you to offer. Even in terms of clients, it's okay to just let go of a few clients which are demanding and are not paying, because then you won't be able to give much time to the ones that are paying. It will be unethical for them to pay you while you're working on the brands which will not pay. So I think that's what I've learned with time.
I think that's a extremely important lesson, because whenever we are starting something new, we are too excited to jump right in. So we miss out on so many details and so much of planning. But of course, with experience, we learn. But I think with others' experience as well, we can learn. We don't need to, suffer it ourselves. Shweta, coming to you, what were your key learnings from your personal set of failures?
So, first of all, I completely agree with what Shrushti told. I would also want to add, it is for my personal level that I always used to doubt myself. I used to think, I think I might not be able to do it for a longer run since I was having other plans for my future. So when I realized also, it took me time to understand that this is my concrete plan, this is my passion, and I need to work. Actually, the love from customers or the people around, though the people around actually gave me strength to take this bet. And for that, I think that I should have personally taken this risk way earlier. I don't blame anything right now. I am at a very happy place. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर यही चीज मैंने पहले रिस्क ले ली होती या मैंने खुद पे उतना भरोसा किया होता, बिकॉज सेल्फ डाउट इज अ थिंग, इट इज राइट नाउ ऑल्सो, इवन इफ आई एम हियर इन दिस इंडस्ट्री फॉर 6 years, एक दिन मुझे सेल्फ डाउट होगा एंड दैट इज वेरी नॉर्मल. सो टू overcome that self doubt, I think risk taking and taking that shot was very important. अगर वो चीज़ मैंने पहले ली होती तो I think आज और भी ज़्यादा होता, but honestly I am still very much happy with what I am having right now.
That's wonderful. Actually, that's true. I mean, we doubt ourselves and we are really unsure, but we got to take the shot that we, intend to do at some point of time. If not then, I mean, why not now? Why to wait for anything? Yeah, and what I was meaning to ask was that people, when I was watching Shark Tank, they were really like scaling for them. Scaling the business really meant that increasing your production and things like that. That how much are you willing to produce, and if your product or your service is not accessible by everyone, they won't invest. So at that time, I was really not on the same page because talking about my personal product, I make fashion accessories. I upcycle fashion accessories, and I have a very sustainable approach towards it. So it's not possible for me to, enter the
Mass
wholesaling
production.
or reselling market, mass production. Exactly. Because I want to be very mindful of this thing, and that is the whole purpose why I started my thing with. And for me personally, I would be okay with not building a company which makes $1 million, but to build something which is more hardcore, which is more sustainable, and which has a purpose and meaning to it. So, is it the same to you guys? What are your views on building a company which is like too much profitable, or building a company which has very strong core values to it?
I think.
So
Go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
Shraddha.
go.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. So for me, I think this business has come out of passion, and it is okay if I am not making $1 million company. I am more into like customer relation. I know that I am in contact with each and every customer of mine. Even if I have to increase my staff and I have to scale up my business, it is okay कुछ लेवल तक. बट अगर मैं उसको बिल्कुल ही मास प्रोडक्शन में ले लेती हूँ तो आई नो केकोलिट्स जब एक्सपांड हुआ उसका मेजर रीजन वाज द पर्सनल टच दैट आई वाज गिविंग. लाइक आई you must have noticed, Jayati, I always put a small heart after I write a name on my cakes. So that is how I put my love to that cake. And I just want to make that very intimate and very personal because home bakers are mainly into personalization, customization, and I just want to keep that intact. And even if I'm upscaling my business, I'll make sure that I hire staff who are able to manage, and I'm still able to make cakes because the day I am shifting myself to management, I know that I'll be away from my passion, and that is not I want to. That is not what I want to do.
That's wonderful. I think for me as well, I am not like trying to build a brand that is just thriving on monetary returns. I would rather build something that, preaches something, not just very focused on like money making and not just a money machine. Not saying that it's wrong to, think that way and work on profits, work on, acquiring more business. But for me personally, what I am trying to do with my brand is do something more mindfully, build something more sustainable, rather than just doing something just robotic mechanic work here.
That is true.
Shrushti, what is your take on this?
I think I started this journey as my hobby, and I think since I've been doing this, it doesn't seem to me as a work, but my work pays. Whatever I like, my hobby is this, and my hobby is paying off. So for me, profitability is the core because this is my passion and I love doing it. But at the end, of course, for me, profitability is also extremely important because I have staff to pay and I'm paying huge salaries. So for me, profit stands as a most important foundation. And that's why I have to keep on reviewing it after every, say, every few months in order to understand that how much do I want to grow. And I do not have a plan for the whole year that this is how I want to do or what I want to do. I just give myself 3 months or 4 months at a stretch max where I decide that this is the amount I want to reach or these are the number of clients I want. So for me, I think a part of it is also called profitability when we say that, of course, that plays a very vital role for me while doing a business because the setup, the operational cost, the salaries, the overheads, and everything, all things in a miscellaneous way is going to be very expensive. And the only motivation out of this would be to earn good amount of profits after paying everything off. So with each year, when I started, I was not looking for profits. I was looking for branding. Now I am looking for more number of people knowing my brand. It's okay to say reduce on pricing a little bit, but I want say more number of people understanding my brand, knowing my brand. Even if not a client, I want them to just know that there's something called the Digistory. So that comes with, say, understanding and say having more number of amount for the marketing area.
So, would you like to put it this way that you want to build your own brand first, and then you mean you want to consistently keep working on your brand while working on building others' brand as well?
See, I don't work on my brand. I just work on my client's brand, and I've got all my clients through word of mouth. 80% of them. I'm not even kidding. Trust me. You just ask my clients about a reviewer, and my work speaks for itself. So
Absolutely.
my vision is to have more number of people know my brand. That is first, and then comes the profitability part. But again, yes, profitability plays a very important role in maintaining those branding tools that I have to keep in order to grow. Otherwise, if I don't have enough number of profits to grow at one level, I'll have to reduce my team. I'll have to compromise on having talent because the people I have to hire are very expensive in terms of graphic designers, content writer, social media manager, ads manager, account manager. They're very expensive because they're highly educated. So for me, profitability is very important to survive.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no what is business without profits? You know, profits are definitely a core to it. But when we're talking about scaling a business, there scaling might not be possible for every kind of business. Like you scale at your own pace,
Correct.
you know? Yeah. So it's just that your this formula for you scaling should match with the vision of your company,
Your vision of success, whatever you
your
think
vision of success.
is your vision, is when you become successful.
Correct. And sometimes, like, since all three of us are like running our own companies, it becomes really overwhelming to, run behind hectic days. And not all days are good, not all days are the same. So, what do you guys ideally, do to make your day better when you're not having a very great day at work? What is your like, just snip into something and it's a reset button for you?
Shweta, go ahead.
Oh, shit. Okay. So I have said this, I think, hundreds of times that my phone is my motivation. Like, एक भी दिन सुबह उठ के एक प्यारा सा मैसेज ना हो, वैसा हो ही नहीं सकता. ज़्यादा होंगे बट मिनिमम एक होगा. And it feels like a surprise or magic, I don't know, but it's not even a day. I'm just talking about the time. For example, half an hour ago, if I'm upset about something and I'm literally crying or having tears, suddenly somehow in next 2 minutes I'll be having a message, a call, or even a customer at my place, and they'll be talking about my work and praising it, and I'll be like, is there a magic going on? Is someone hearing that I need this motivation right now? And I don't know how it works, but it really works like a magic to me, that the moment I am upset about something and I am not able to lift myself up, these messages, these motivation, and this love, oh God, I cannot even put it into words. That is how it is working, and that is how I'm able to still survive and actually enjoy every day of my business.
You have a very, you have mastered the art, as I mentioned before, of winning hearts by feeding cakes to your customers. So it's a given that they're going to, bombard you with all the good messages and all the feelings.
But
And
the
I think you're
timing
really
is a
lucky.
magic. Like, I don't know how it happens that it comes at exact time. Like, you can see I'm crying right now, and next minute something comes up, and I'm like, how? How do they know that I need this at this given point of time?
How wonderful is that? I mean, you're blessed, must say. Shrushti, what is it for you? How do you turn a bad day into a good one?
So, when the year starts, I think I note down a few things, what I want in that 1 year. So I think the first thing, on a very extremely bad day, what I do is I go back to that thing. So it motivates me for the for starters. And if it's not a very bad day, I'll just take my resort to like watching something or going out for a walk or just listening to good music, driving, anything very mediocre, not anything that's great. But also sometimes when I freak out about work, I start organizing work. I have this
Oh,
tendency to organize my work. I start making presentation documents. I start making plans of how I'm going to manage the whole month, especially on the where I'm traveling. The months where I know that I'm not going to be able to give more time to my business, I freak out and I start organizing stuff, and I think that gives me good feeling. I feel good at that time.
like a sweet OCD kind of a thing.
Correct, correct. And of course, my team is super sweet. So we always went out. Like our problems at the end of the day are the problems that clients give us. So sorry if anybody from my clients list is watching, but it's always the problems that we face in our work life, and we always try to come as a team and we went together. So it's always easy.
I think having a great team at your back solves most
Much
of
more,
your
yes.
problems. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
it makes it so much bearable, and it's refreshing in itself.
And nobody except for your team would understand what has happened to you. Not even your
Exactly.
closest
Definitely.
person in this planet. Your team will understand what you're going through.
Correct, correct. For me, it's even simpler. Whenever I'm feeling down, I would just dress up and put on something that I made by myself. Like if I made a pair of earrings, I just put them on and I would feel so beautiful. I would feel so good about myself that would keep me thriving. That I want every girl to feel as beautiful as I do when I put on my earrings. So
Very-
I'm like, yeah.
Your name
So
is
I'm
also
like,
very beautiful. beautiful. The name of your brand is also very
Thank you
beautiful.
so much. Thank you so much. So that's what I wish to convey, that, all girls out there are my sakhis, are my friends. And whenever, they're feeling low or something, I just want to be that one sunshine moment when you like put on something and you're feeling extremely good about yourself, very confident and
Yes.
all good things.
That is called branding. When you understand that you connect with your audience, and when you understand
Absolutely.
what experience you're trying to sell is moreover the branding part of a company. The experience that you're
Yeah.
trying to sell with your product.
Correct, correct. I definitely agree with it. I think it's been a great evening and it's been a great time chatting with the two of you, knowing the insights of your ideology of running your own businesses. On the closing note, I would like to ask you guys to just give one little message to the women entrepreneurs, or just a simple message on the account of Women's Day today.
Shraddha, go ahead.
Okay. Um, the only message that I want to give is trust your instincts, and it is okay if you are not going according to the society norms. It is very much okay if society has built some uh, नॉर्म्स, और यू कैन से एक तरीका बना दिया है कि यही करना है, यहाँ ये होना चाहिए, and if you are not able to follow that and you still feel that your instincts are working for you, just go for it. While saying this, it is also implied on me because sometimes the messages given by society also hits my mind, but I know that my instincts are more than what society has planned for me. So I think just go follow your passion, be consistent towards it, and if your instinct says that go for it, just go for it.
That's very true. Shrushti?
So I have just one message that, as a female entrepreneur, you're going to face a lot of issues. You will have your family, you will have friends, you'll have um, your extended family after you're married, and your own set of close family members once you're married, and it's going to be very hectic, and it's going to be overwhelming and just very time consuming in energy draining for you. But I think at the end you want to be independent, and you want to be relied only on yourself. You don't want to rely on somebody else for your accounts, for your, say, whatever need you want for yourself. You can't ask for one rupee every time you want to do something. So it's very important to be independent, especially if you belong to, say, a very lower middle class family. For those, I really mean that you need to first understand what you want to do, how you want to do, and just start. Even if it's a job, just start and be independent so that you can at least do things for yourself, and you don't have to rely on a male to do it for you. Otherwise, you won't have a stand, you won't have a voice, and you won't be able to do anything in life. Because over here I think as a female, people just tend to understand that you are just you have, there are stereotypes wherein you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, but nobody focuses on what they are supposed to do, that is business also. So not just business, even a job, you have to keep the point wherein you're getting money from at center with your family, of course. But you can't be, going back to different set of people like your father or husband for small things that you want to do in life.
I think
That's
self-reliance is very important for today's
correct.
women.
Correct.
It brings
Very
in
important.
a lot of confidence and it eliminates all
Correct.
the excuses that you say that hinders your growth. So I think if you're self-reliant, half of your problems are already solved. And
And you have confidence and you're not nervous. You can just do whatever you want, however you want. Just like
correct.
any other guy would do for himself.
Absolutely. Just like how the theme of this thing today is like take the lead, take the charge of your own life. So I think that is a very simple, basic thing that we can imply in our own lives. And one more thing I would like to add by my side is that always look for inspiration. Whenever someone will inspire you, you will be driven uh, from within to do some great things will come out of you if you're inspired. So always stay inspired and look for things that inspire you. All right, I think it was a great time. All the, of course, our panel, other panel, all the panels had great discussion, topic of discussions, all the great insights. And thank you, Team Spotlight, for having us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Utsav.
Thank you
It
so
was
much,
my
Utsav.
pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, Shrushty. Thank you so much, Sweta. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so much,
Jayashree.
Utsav.
Thank you, Utsav. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye,
Happy
guys.
Women's
Thank you
Day
so much.
to all the women. Good
Happy
night.
Yes,
Women's Day, everyone.
yes. Thank you so much,
All
guys.
right.
Thank
See
you, Utsav,
you.
for hosting this.
Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you. Bye, bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye. So that was the end of our first ever live stream. I just can't believe this is happening. But I just want to I'm sorry. Can you hear some music in the background? Okay. हाँ चला गया क्या? Can you just हाँ. So if you are on the stream right now, also if you are watching right now, then I'm like requesting you. I want to say to you that please donate. This money is going to be used for the distribution of the sanitary pads in the rural areas of Gujarat. In whatever amount you can help us, you can donate your money on this given number and the given UPI ID on the Google Pay. So please donate, please help us reach achieving this goal of distributing 500 sanitary pads to young girls who are in school, so they don't miss the school, they don't miss the learnings of life. That's our really the motive behind this particular initiative. And thank you so much for all the people who joined in today. It really means a lot because it was something that we want to do from October, and suddenly kuch ho nahi pa raha tha. We were doubting ourselves and all those things, but on in end of the February we decided that okay, we want to do something like this on the Women's Day. And as I said, I'm very proud that on Entrepreneur Talks in हम लोगों ने अभी तक 28 30 एपिसोड रिकॉर्ड हो चुके हैं और 28 episodes already are out. In that, majority of the entrepreneurs are female, and I am very proud of that fact. So happy Women's Day to all of you. And I just want to say thank you to all the donors, that the people who donated the money. Firstly, I want to say thank you to Deepesh Thakkar. दीपेश भाई वो बहुत ही इनिशियल ईयर से हम लोगों को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, हम लोगों को हेल्प कर रहा है. थैंक यू सो मच दीपेश फॉर अगेन बिलीविंग इन अस एंड ट्रस्टिंग अस. थैंक यू सो मच, दिस मीन्स अ लॉट. After that is Krupa Pitwa. Krupa, thank you so much for your money. It really means a lot to us. And then thank you so much, Yash Shah, for donating 500 rupees. It really, really means a lot. I'm really overwhelmed right now, you know, because of your contribution. It really means a lot. This is our first stream, and this is something which we wanted to try, uh, from like October, November, and finally we are doing this. So अभी थोड़ा overwhelmed, थोड़ा जैसा feel हो रहा है, but yes, that's the life. I hope you enjoyed this live stream और आप लोगों को मजा आया होगा, आप लोगों को learning मिली होगी. If you are not subscribed to our channel, then please subscribe कर दो. मेरे को बेचना पड़ेगा ना अपने ब्रांड को भी. तो प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कर दो, प्लीज लाइक करो यूट्यूब स्ट्रीम को. एंड इन हैप्पी इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे टू ऑल ऑफ यू, men and women also. सो अगर आपकी लाइफ में ऐसी कोई भी क्लोज वुमेन हो, ऐसा हो, प्लीज सपोर्ट देम, प्लीज पुश देम टू अचीव मोर एंड मोर great powers. And the learnings that I took from this, that the way Prachi said that कि don't afraid to dream big. उसमें कुछ बुराई नहीं है कि तुम बोल दोगे, डोंट अफ्रेड टू ड्रीम बिग एट ऑल. एंड एज श्वेता राइटली सेड दैट कि ट्रस्ट योर इंस्टिंक्ट्स, एंड सोसाइटी के ऊपर इतना ज़्यादा ध्यान मत दो, एंड थिंग्स विल फॉल इन टू द प्लेस after some point of time. So thank you so much guys, thank you so much for joining. You can donate money on this given number, till today or tomorrow. If you are going to watch this stream, अगर आप ये stream कल देख रहे हो या तो फिर आज नहीं, live नहीं देख रहे हो, then please donate money. It will help us reach our goal. Thank you so much guys. I think now we are going to end the stream.